called Reiki, and we're going to do some healing meditations, and we're going to have a chat about it, and you can ask questions, ask anything you like about Reiki, about healing techniques, and some of you are already Reiki healers. I see some of you are my students, and I know some of you. So hi Nurja. So yeah, I know that some of you might already have done this course from other places, and some of you are considering it, and some of you have no idea why you're here. You're just here. So for all of the people that I mentioned and the category that's there, but I didn't mention, all of you, hi. Welcome to this topic of Reiki. It's one of my favorite topics, let's just say. My journey in spirituality started with Reiki, and then it moved to many places. So that's why Reiki has that special place. You know, it was the stepping stone. So if clients come to me and ask me, where do you think I should start? And I'm like, Reiki. So yeah, that's what Reiki is for me. It's that special start point where, you know, this whole world opened up for me. And from there I went to uh, like, you know, do many other things, and I evolved as a person, and things shifted for me. So we will discuss a little bit about why Reiki. But before I do anything, I want everyone to simply just take deep, relaxing breath. If you are a crystal user and you have any crystals on you, I would ask you to grab hold of your crystal, and if you have it right there, and I'm gonna ask you to simply bring your hands in prayer pose. This position is called Gasho in Japanese, Namaste in Indian, Sanskrit, and prayer pose in English. So bring your hands together in front of your heart. Close your eyes. Take few gentle breaths. Now connect with your breath. Follow your breath all the way down to the base of your spine as you breathe in. As you breathe out, follow your breath all the way up to your third eye chakra, your forehead. Breath contains Reiki energy, the prana energy. And when you are consciously breathing, you are letting this energy spread even better in all the meridians. Make a small intention in your heart that you're opening yourself up to receive the universal Reiki energy, and let it come down to you as you breathe. You are receiving this energy from your breath, but you're also now starting to receive this energy from each and every cell of your body. And this light enters you from all directions. filling you up. Until you feel so light that even your aura is radiating this light. And slowly come back, open your eyes, relax your hands, and we start. So, when we do it as a collective, it's even more powerful. So it took seconds for the light to spread. So that was amazing. Okay, so let's start. Let's start a little bit of theory, and then we'll move to the meditation. So what is Reiki? Reiki is a Japanese word. Uh, if you translate it, it means Rei, R-E-I, and Ki. It's made out of two words. So Ki is the energy, the prana, the chi. So it's basically the energy of life. Whatever is alive, that chi is inside that. So Rei means universal. So Reiki together means universal life force energy. This energy is everywhere. We are taking it with our breaths, we are taking it we are taking it with sunlight, moonlight, we are taking it with the food we eat, we are taking it through each other. So we are basically taking this energy from everywhere in the universe. And so why do Reiki course when you are already taking it from everywhere in the universe? Why do Reiki course? So let's go by the story. So there are many variations to how the whole Reiki was discovered, and what was the purpose of the master who got into, like, who wanted to find out about Reiki. So there are many variations. So I'm gonna give you the variation which I know of. So over time, the story has changed, probably evolved into many different versions. So basically, Reiki, there's this master in Japan. We are talking about 1800s, late 1800s, and this is a monk, and he teaches in a monastery. And one day, one of his students asked him, "How was Jesus Christ doing touch healing?" And this master's name is Mikao Usui. Master Usui, we lovingly call him. So Master Usui was like, "Wow, this is an interesting question." Because there are a few people across time, and there are many stories about them who are born with touch healing. So they didn't have to actually do anything; they were just born with it. So there are many shamans who have touch healing abilities as well. So there was, like, this time where you are either born with it or it's not there. So Master Usui wanted to know, how was Jesus Christ doing it? How was it so powerful that he would touch his hands, and a blind would see, a handicap would get all better, even a dead person came alive, if you go by the story. So basically, how was he doing it? And he went into a soul searching journey of years. He left his position in the monastery. He checked up, every library, every text that he could find about this phenomena and how touch healing works. He wanted to understand it, he wanted to know, and so that more people can learn. So he was doing it for a much bigger purpose. And many years later, he had a master. He had a Zen master, and his Zen master so he found, like, these texts which are called Tibetan sutras, and these texts had these mystical symbols. And his Zen master said that Master Usui should go to the mountain and sit and meditate on these symbols. So that's what Master Usui did. He went on Mount Kurama, and he started to meditate on the symbols. So he kept 21 pebbles in front of him. So he meditated and fasted for 21 days. So these 21 pebbles are in front of him. Every day he is meditating on the symbols, throwing one pebble. So one day, 2 days, 3 days. And on the 21st day, basically, he saw a beam of light, like a powerful beam of light coming straight towards his third eye. He knew he had to surrender to the light. So he simply just stayed there, and the light came on his third eye. He fainted. And in that state of unconsciousness, he downloaded the science of Reiki, how it works. So, how to open and activate Reiki in others, how Reiki heals, what are the symbols, what are the meanings, so on and so forth. When he got back up from that trance like state, he was extremely happy. He was like full of joy, and he found answers, and he was looking for it for years. So, he was so happy. He went down, he was going down the mountain, and they said, so the first thing that happened was he tripped a little there and he hurt his toe. So the first instinct is to just touch it. So when you get hurt, so he just did it without knowing, but actually the pain resolved immediately, because he had just downloaded this high vibrational Reiki energy and he just channeled it. So it was very powerful for him, and that the pain immediately resolved, the bleeding stopped, etc. And he was like shocked at how amazing it is. So he went down, he met he stayed over in a lodge, and he went there to eat, and he ate after 21 days, but he did not get sick, which was amazing for and shocking for even him. But in that lodge, he saw that there was a child who had pain, tooth pain, and the cheek was sort of swollen. So he healed the child on the spot. Again, this was like, not very, at that time, this was not very common to happen. Now there are many healers and they are doing so many things and everything is on internet, but we are talking about a much older time. So yeah, this happened, and then he was like, this works. He was very amazed at how amazing, beautifully Reiki is working, and it's so easy. So then he went to meet his Zen master, and his Zen master was like in too much pain. He was like bedridden, and he was very sick. And Mikao Usui used his Reiki to heal his Zen master. So Mikao Usui then went to the city area, and he set up a clinic, sort of a space, and he started to like offer Reiki for free. In the beginning, Reiki was offered for absolutely free. So the people who cannot afford treatments with a doctor would basically go and take Reiki treatment from Master Usui. So these were like people from the slums, very poor, uh, very poor category of people. So this is what happened, and so Mikao Usui started to offer healings, and people started to come. Word spread like wildfire, and people were like, there were a lot of people coming in, and Mikao Usui started training people as well. So this is how the Reiki started. It was very like, it was not just given to anyone. People were like evaluated in the beginning, and they were like, it was like the everything was taught in a certain order, and it was very traditional. Now you can go online and you can buy like 3 levels of Reiki or 5 levels of Reiki with a grandmaster certification. That's ridiculous. It doesn't used to happen that way. So Reiki was and is will always be one of those methods that is a very master student relationship technique. So it is not something which you can read from a book and you're done. There is going to be a master who's going to help you, initiate you, and who's going to help you with your journey. So it's something which is what Reiki is. It is the traditional master student relationship technique. So the master in a class of Reiki will open up the chakras of the student, and the Reiki will start to flow. And as the Reiki starts to flow, it moves into the hands. From the heart, it moves into the hands, and the hands would heat up, and there would be like a sort of a vibration or a pulsation on the hand chakras, and wherever the hands are directed to other person or to yourself, the Reiki will start to flow there. So students will experience like a heat like energy moving in, or a pulsation or a vibration moving in. So that's pretty much like a background on how Reiki works. So far, any questions? You could type, or I don't know, if you're not mute, you could even talk. Um, there are already a few chats here. So yeah, if you have any questions, you could leave it on the chat section, and I'm gonna like slowly start answering. So moving on to how Reiki works. So as I said, the master is going to open your energy channels, your chakras, and that process is a very spiritual process. It's called attunement. And in that attunement, and there are people who do online attunements, and I have not personally experienced any online attunement, as I come from that traditional belief, you can say, that I need the person in front of me to attune them. So the attunement is done one-on-one strictly, whereas there are some masters who are also like doing it in a group setting. So as long as like at least it's if there must be a technique to do it in a group setting, but I come from a traditional place where it is done one-on-one, so I do one-on-one, and the chakras are opened and the student is asked to like sit in the prayer pose for about 20-25 minutes. It takes quite a while, and all the chakras are open, the space is cleansed, the student is initiated, and then the student is asked to like sit and feel their Reiki, and then the student is directed how to sort of like heal themselves with Reiki. So when you take a level one, that's what you're expecting, and then there is a in-depth theory about seven chakras, and there's a healing of a partner, so you are learning how to heal others as well. That's a Reiki level one. Reiki level one is done as a preparation, I feel, to Reiki level two, because Reiki level two contains the right vibrations, like the proper strong Reiki. So during the time of Mikao Usui, the students were attuned to level one and level two sort of like together, and level three they would wait for sometimes months or even years. So the master would decide when the student is ready for level three. But as Reiki changed and evolved with different masters and different techniques and topics came in, it was like understood that if you take level one and take a 21 days of self healing and then come for level two, that works better as well, because after level one, the 21 days of self healing is going to flush off a lot of toxins, a lot of negative energies, lower energies from your space. You're going to be like a very calm and relaxed space person, and when you come for level two, it's like bam, it's extremely powerful. So the attunement literally opens a lot of psychic senses, a lot of chakras. It clears the karmic patterns, it clears the ancestral imprints. It is very, very powerful. So level two attunement could be one of the most game changing, life changing experiences. And the 21 days that follows after level two could also be one of the most life changing, powerful, times of your life. But again, this is just start of your journey, because as you move and move and move and you work on yourself, you become very, very clear. You are shedding layers and layers of false identities on the in the journey. So yeah, that's how powerful it is. So far, any questions, anything that anyone needs to ask about it? So I have a very silent audience today, I guess. People don't have questions, no worries. I'll keep on talking. Timeline for Reiki level one. So basically, the courses are not long. You can do level one in one day as well. So earlier, what we used to do was, if the batch size is big, I would do a 2 days class. But these days, because of COVID, the batch size is anyways like you can either do it one to one, or if you're doing it in a group setting, you will not have more than 6 people. So it's already like squeezed in, sort of like not more people allowed, sort of a space. So the classes are going to run for one day, and if there is a need or requirement to sort of like attend any extra number of hours, that's decided in the class. So the students and teacher will decide that if they feel like they need more practice, then we will schedule something like an additional 2 or 3 hours later. which is completely, between us. But the actual class will be 1 day class, where you will get the attunement you will take before the class. So everyone whoever wants to like ask questions can chat for a while, like so yeah. So level 1 is a 1 day class. Level 2 could also be finished in 1 day. Sometimes I see if the students are looking tired, and if like it's looking like they are taking in too much, because 2 is extremely intense level. So then I say, okay, we are going to divide the class in, because the classes will mostly happen on Friday. So most people will have that Saturday for themselves. So we can understand, okay, I can finish some topics on the Saturday, it's totally okay. So we're going to keep that open. But as of now, it's like scheduled, or it will look like it's a 1 day class. But definitely, if there is a reason or anything, we will do extra hours the next day. um, so yeah, the cost and stuff, yes, you will get some understanding on how that works as well. So yeah, okay. So I'm gonna like discuss a little bit on what all can you learn with Reiki level 2, because as I said, level 1 is the detox flushing off process, but 2 is the gist of Reiki. 2 is extremely what Reiki is, I say. So there are very interesting topics in level 2. One of the things you will learn, first of all, you will get attunement to level 2, and you will learn how to do the symbols. So you will do Reiki with symbols. You will do distant healing. So you can, like sitting here, I could do healing for people in, let's say, UK, India, or anywhere in the world. So basically, you can heal anyone anywhere in the world by taking the name of a person. Of course, this is done with permission. So yeah, so you will learn the art of distant healing. You will learn how to the art of intention based healing. You will learn how to do manifestations with Reiki. So you will learn several manifestation techniques. So there are techniques like Reiki wish box. There are techniques where you do Reiki during, like, there are moon rituals with Reiki. So you have like your rituals on your full moon and the new moon. You're gonna learn some of that. You're gonna learn law of attraction and Reiki. You will learn cord cuttings and Reiki. So cord cuttings is basically letting go of people, places, times, events that have sort of become like negative for you. So you cut your cords with, let's say something happened 5 years back and it still haunts me and I can't move on from it. So it's like a trauma. So I could do a cord cutting with it. You could cut your cords with someone who is very traumatic as a person for you, or because of the association with this person you have suffered a lot of losses. So you could, like, cut your cords with this person. You could also cut cord with your own habits and patterns. You could cut cords with things that like, with the same person. So for example, let's say my own mother. So if I have, like, let's say with your mother, you could have like positive, negative, both cords, or with your own partner or with your own child. So no, this is level 2. So when you cut your cords with someone who you want to be with, what happens is you only cut negative psychic cords, and you don't cut anything positive. So what happens, all the negative stuff moves off, and all the positive chords becomes better in quality. So let's say I'm like always arguing with someone, and as I'm arguing with this person all the time, I feel like there's a chord of miscommunication between me and this person, or there's a chord of ego or pride, something like that. So I will cut that chord with that person so that the communication channel becomes better. So you can do that with anybody, and you don't seek permission to do cord cuttings with people. So there's a lot of stuff coming in, so I'm gonna just read in a while and answer that. Um, Apart from cord cutting, space, you will learn how to do space cleansing. So you can clean, let's say, your own house, your office. You can clean auras. You can clean other person's space, and you can like clear lands, and you can do Reiki on. Let's say you have like a piece of property and you want to like sell it on a good price or something. So you could do Reiki on that. Let's say you go on a holiday, so you could like clear the space of that hotel room that you live in or a villa that you're living in. So you know that psychically, energetically, you are now living in a clear space. Nobody else's energy fragments are there. So you learn how to do that. You learn how to do food and water Reiki. So this is all level 2. As I said, level 1 is the preparation, the detox, the flush off. Level 2 is the gist of the cream of all stuff. So yeah, that's all level 2. Then what else do you learn? Uh, you learn how to charge candles, crystals, programming crystals with Reiki. So you could program crystals. So let's say you're wearing like a piece of crystal, and then you want to program it. So let's say when I go to work every day, I feel zapped out of energy. So if that's happening, what could I do? I can, like, program a crystal, and I can and ask the crystal to, like, shield my energy, maintain the energy. So the crystal will be programmed to do just that, and I'm gonna see the difference, that I won't be feeling set so much zapped out. You also learn how to do your own shielding and protection, so that when you move out, you are not like, if especially if you're an empath or someone who absorbs a lot. So you would, like, learn how powerful techniques to shield and protect yourself. And you learn how to charge candles and incense, and etc. So it's like, let's just say, food and water, it's like bringing Reiki in everyday life. And you can heal a situation. So let's say you can heal a situation that's going to happen in future. So let's say 6 months from now, I'm getting married. So for example, I'm already married. So 6 months from now, for example, I'm getting married. So I could start, so I have the date, I have everything. I could sit and do the Reiki on that day of the marriage, uh, you know every day for like few minutes, couple of minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes. And when the day of marriage comes, I will see that everything is happening peacefully. There are no glitches, there are no problems. So I can do, like, let's say I have a conference. So I in a week's time, or I have an important interview, or I have an exam, so I can do Reiki on those things as well, basically. uh, so that's level 2. Level 2 is very intense, very, very, you will feel tired in level 2 as well. As you sit in the class, you're going to, like, take this all in. It's very heavy, powerful sort of knowledge. So you will take all of this in, and there's a lot of energy mastery that you learn in level 2, basically. So by the time you have completed your 21 days of level 2, you have obviously changed as a person. And there are a few Reiki students of mine probably in this talk present, and they can vouch for it, that after Reiki 2, things really do shift in life. And there's a lot of psychic abilities, awareness that opens up. There's a lot of shift that happens in life. You release a lot of karmic implications. You dream of stuff, like clearing, clearing, clearing. It's very empowering. So level 2 is what you want to aim for. I tell this to everyone, that if you're choosing Reiki, please take 2 levels at the least. Why do I always say that? And why do I not say take level 3 also? Level 3, you learn master symbol. Master symbol will make, then you can call yourself Reiki masters. So people who are ready for self mastery will be drawn to take 3, but people who are not ready for self mastery will not be drawn to 3. So they will stay with 2. 2 will deal with a lot of things that you're dealing with in regular life, everyday life. 3 is ascension. 3 is basically moving beyond of the beyond, so becoming a master. So you walk on that path of mastery. It's very, very spiritual path you take. Then many layers of egos shared, pride is shared, and you become very different as a person. So that's why I say that 3 is a calling. So if you take 2 and you do your 21 days, and then you regularly practice your Reiki, and you feel like you're good. But 3 is a calling. So 3 you will do when you feel like, okay, I have to do 3. I just have to do 3. So that's how 3 is. 4 and 5 is to become a teacher. So after 3, you can do 4 and 5 to become a teacher. So this is how the journey goes. So 1 to 3 can be done, like, in a span of 3 months. So, and then 4 and 5 will be like, if there's like a one batch a year. So we will see, like, where you fall, and when you're ready and stuff. I'm gonna go and check any stuff around the chat section now. Give me a second. Yeah, so somebody asked if we can give Reiki from distance, then why not attunement from distance? The process is completely different, Zafar. Giving Reiki and attunement has a completely different process. So that's why it's like, they are not the same techniques. They're completely different techniques. During the attunement, the master is physically touching your chakras, and pressing some points really hard. you see. And they are during the attunement, they are also like sometimes opening the palm chakras like this. So they are doing these things, which from a distance, I don't know how people do. I'll tell you how Reiki masters use a distant attunement. They basically take like a pillow or a teddy bear, and they pretend it's the client, and they do it. I somehow find that very weird personally. It works for whoever it works, honestly, but during the time of Mikao Usui, there was no such there was no such thing as distant attunements, honestly. Okay, so yeah, I spoke about level 1 and level 2. Do you think that only with Reiki a person can do all this? No. So Eliza, it's not true. This is not only through Reiki a person can do all this. There is another thing which is very powerful, equally powerful or more, I don't know, and that's called meditation. So with the power of meditation, you can do all this and more as well. So honestly, it's about Reiki is, I can say Reiki is like a shortcut, because Reiki is like the attunement is there, the energy is there, so it is very easy. Whereas in meditation, you have to start from like very start and move up to that level. So it's a regular mastery. But yes, you can do it with the help of meditation as well. You can totally do that. So how do you cut cords with your habits? So Meghna, we have, you have done level 2. So there is an affirmation used on each chakra, and the habit is mentioned, and then Reiki symbols are basically used. If you want, we can check this out later with you. So cord cutting is done with the help of an affirmation on each chakra and the symbols together. Um, as I'm doing all of these at the moment, since I got sucked in with energy work and energy practice, should there be any strict lifestyle follow to practice Reiki? Raghavendra Rao. During the attunements, this is a very interesting question. So during the attunements, the master will tell you that it will be good if you like take a light meal, avoid alcohol for like 3 days, or some masters will even say avoid non-vegetarian for 3 days. I just asked to avoid alcohol on and the rest is up to you. So basically what you do is you just avoid it, and then you take the attunement, and then you're fine. But after doing Reiki, when you're doing a self-healing and stuff, everyday healing, it changes you in many ways. So it changes your habit. So if you are having something that is not good for you, you automatically get sort of like repulsed by it. So there were like a few students who came and said that after Reiki, alcohol started to feel very weird and we didn't want it. And there were others who were fine with it. So especially if you have a body type where the alcohol is bad for you, like you are like too acidic or something, and it could cause cancer or other problems, because it's, there are some body types which can't handle alcohol so well. So if you come from that body type, then Reiki will make you repulse it. But if you don't have that problem, then there's no problem. So it's basically, and plus on the higher spiritual path, a lot of things you do differently, like your food choices and everything will change naturally. Nothing is like something like a rule of thumb that do this and don't do this. It's basically like you follow your body's energy and see what your body needs, and you become very in tune to understand that, basically. So I hope that um, 21 days should be in a row. What if we miss a day or two? So I ask people to, like, if you're missing, like, if there is a chance that you're going to miss the day or two, at least do 20, like, the 7 chakras. So there's an hour of practice every day if you properly do it. But if you at least cover your 7 chakras, then it's also good. But if you miss, you miss. It's not like there's going to be earthquake somewhere. No, if you miss, you miss. But just do, like, just continue from the next day. What will happen is the toxins that are releasing will slow down, but then you pick it up. So that's what continuity helps. That's what I can tell you. For distance Reiki, is there need to get permission from other person? So basically in Reiki, what we do is we don't like, taking permission or letting the person know is very important. We consider it like something which we should do. But if it is someone like, let's say, my own child or my parents or my siblings, like first degree relatives, so mom, dad, brother, sister, husband, wife, kids, I can basically do it without even permission. So I can let them know, or I can do it. But it's not something, unless if they have said, please do not give me Reiki at all, I hate Reiki. So that doesn't obviously happen. But if they have said something specifically, then I won't. But otherwise, like, it's not necessary. Like, when I do my daily Reiki, I would just take my mother's name and my father's name just like that. And while I'm doing my own Reiki, I'm sending them Reiki too, and it would just work easily. So I'd never have to, like, tell them all the time that I'm giving you Reiki. But yeah, outside this, like uncle, aunts, friends, cousins, you should ask permission. Like, a proper permission is very important, and in those cases. So that's that. Okay. Any other further questions? Is it possible or good to do the whole thing in one day of a missed day? I don't understand that question. Wow. So, if, like, my teacher used to say, if you miss a day, do double the next day. So that's what my teacher used to say. It's like, I don't like to burden my students, so I don't tell them that, okay, do double the next day, because it becomes like 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours thing for, and it's a lot. So sometimes it could be like, people are not able to, manage that. So if I make it very hard for you, also it's not nice. You will get put off. So I have, like, energetically given you many techniques which will help you if you miss a day or something. Like, if you genuinely couldn't do it, maybe you were traveling, even, because it doesn't make sense unless you were sick or something. And so, because even during travel you can do your Reiki and stuff, unless you are the one driving, because then you use your hands. So yeah, basically, if you do miss a day because you could not, then I would say, like, before you sleep, maybe just put your hands on whichever chakras you can, and give it for a little time. So at least you have used the flow, like, you have activated the flow. It basically, the reason why there is, you can't miss it, or it's very hard to miss a day, is also because it's very easy to do. So it doesn't require concentration. Like in meditation, you have to sit and concentrate, you can get disturbed. In Reiki, it doesn't work like that. It's an activation. Once the activation is there, the energy just flows. You don't even concentrate on it. Like, you could be watching television and your hands could be on your chakras, it will still flow, and it's going to flow very well. It's not like the flow is going to be any different. So that even you're stranded on an island and you're going to do it, it's going to flow. So it's like, it's an energy which will flow. So it's very easy. While you are while somebody else is driving, and you're, like, let's say, just sitting in the car or something, you could touch your points and do Reiki. Or you could be talking to your family, touch your points and do Reiki. 15 minutes work, break at work, touch your points and do Reiki. It's like, and it's like, it works beautifully, and it is very easy. So it's very hard to miss a day for with Reiki. You could miss, like, maybe you could miss, let's say, doing all the points, but missing completely is something which is very rare, because it's easy to do. It is very easy to do. One sec. Chat section. After how many days can we do level 2? So level 1, 21 days practice. Level 2, 21 days practice. Level 3. So every level once a month. So how many seconds for one position? No, it's 3 minutes for one position in level 1. And in level 2, you become more, what to say, like, intuitive. So I say, just lose the timer and decide how much time you want on each chakra by yourself. So for Reiki, of all chakras almost need around 1 hour. Then, as you told, you're giving energy to parents, kids, family, then you need many hours to give energy. Yeah, so when you're giving Reiki to others, you could do it together while you're doing your own Reiki as well. That's okay. So I could, like, if I'm let's say, I can, while I'm giving Reiki to myself, I can give Reiki to my mom, my dad, or my siblings as well together. It's just about intention and taking their name. So I can pretty much do it together, if it's like, but if I'm doing something very focused, let's say, like, someone from my family is not feeling well, so then I will just do it as a separate session to 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 do it. But if it's like a regular thing, then I can do it together. So it wouldn't take that much time. And there are some shortcuts that I teach in level 2 about how you can give Reiki to someone in a matter of minutes, and it's going to be very powerful. I can, like, I've done some seriously awesome short sessions, and the results have come in less than 24 hours with my clients. So it's quite powerful. So that's that. Any further questions? Looks like you guys are getting a little, uh, okay. So what I'm gonna, you did not comment anything. Okay, I missed something. One sec. Elisa, I did. So courses give me more information probably, but I need to know who I am going for a course and the information depending on the context of the course. As there are many other kind of teachers out there. That's true, yeah. So Lisa, that's true. That's you need to. I tell people because Reiki is a very master student thing, and I keep repeating this because I do believe in it. So you need to know who you are learning Reiki with. You need to connect with your master. You need to like the person who you are doing Reiki with, because this is a very one of the most intimate things. Like, you know, it's very beautiful as a connection, and you should connect with the person with whom you're doing Reiki with, because it's going to stay with you. It's an attunement, it's going to stay with you. That person's energy is like a blessing that comes your way. So of course it's going to be, you know. And for the course content, for level 2 you will not find course content like, you know, like very normally it's very narrow, because people will teach you like symbols, people will teach you wish box and distance healing, and that will be it. There will be nothing like, you know, all the other stuff that I mentioned, there's hardly anything like that out there. So unless they are my students who are doing it, so the Reiki 2 that I do is very very different. And unless they are following the same genre, they're my students and they've done it with me, you will not see this kind of course content so easily. But nevertheless, the energy is still pure. The energy of the other Reiki masters is still going to be powerful, and I do trust and believe that it works, especially if they're doing it in person. So yeah, all the details about fees and the course dates and stuff, there's gonna, if you move up you will see that there's like a small link there, and if you click on that link you will get to the dates and course when it's happening. So I would ask you to like go check it out, because it's like, you know, being an energy person, one of the things that has happened is numbers are a little confusing for me. I forget numbers, so I even don't remember the upcoming course dates. So so is it compulsory to take some fee? Yes. So good question. I'll go back to my story. So when Mika Usui was doing healings for free, he noticed that the, you know, a lot of people keep coming back with similar issues. He noticed that, you know, they go back better and then they keep coming back. He meditated and he asked the spirit, the universe, that what can I do to make it more permanent, that, you know, these people don't have to keep coming back with same things. Like the backache, I do Reiki, backache is gone, 100% gone, so it should be gone, but it should not come back after a month. So he wanted to know like how to make it more permanent so that people will not like, you know, have to keep coming back. And he was given the advice that he should take energy exchange. So what Master Usui did was he started taking donations. So he did not put a price to it, he kept like a donation box, and he said whatever you can afford you can put it in this. So they started to like put whatever, even 1 penny is fine. So that's how it started. The rule of energy exchange like became more prominent. It's basically like energy given, energy comes back, the circuit completes. So there is no karmic implications also, it's even easier like that. So I asked from you, do you think only using Reiki for energies, as it is interesting for me to know truths of other people? No, I did tell you, Eliza, that there are you can use meditations for all the things that I said, like energetic changes in reality, cutting cords, clearing auras, clearing space. You can do all of that with meditations as well. You can do all of it, but you will have to do a lot of practice. So it's Reiki is not the only one, and Reiki is not the only modality. There's so many other modalities which will cover the exact same topics that I mentioned. And I keep repeating, it's because it's easy. It's basically easy. It's like the attunement helps a lot, and the channels that are cleared and the technique, it's so easy. You don't have to like start from the scratch, because, you know, a lot of it is just given on a silver plate. Use it. It's easy. That's what I meant. So yeah, there are many modalities that are teaching the same concepts that I'm teaching, but the techniques are gonna be different. So yeah, that's that. So I guess I answered all the questions. And if I did, we can probably, if there's anything else, or I can start with the meditation. Okay, so let's do this. If you are at your own house, watching this, etc. So if you are watching this, okay, there's another question. So why attunement is so costly? So Zafar, this is going to be a very practical situation. The thing is that people who are teaching Reiki, people who are working with Reiki, just with any other healing modalities, and this has come as a question more times than I can imagine, being a healer for this many years. So just because, let's say for example, I take my example, just because I'm a healer, I work with energy, I give people energy, etc. Doesn't mean that the government pays for my rent, right? So I still have to live in the same city as I'm the people with whom I'm working with, pay the same rents, go to the same grocery stores and buy stuff. And it's going to be like I'm in the system. I'm not someone who's sitting in a forest, in a hut, drawing apples from a tree, and I don't need anybody. So that level of unconditionality, that level of where you have like renounced the world and now you're helping, is very different. So if I'm not on that level, I can't, if I'm not on that level, I'll have to charge, and I'll have to charge according to what's gonna cost for me to maintain, like having a house, having a practice, having etc etc. You understand? There's like when Reiki is done in a healing center, the healing center is paying rent as well to that space, and there are many people who are like they answering their calls, so they are getting paid as well. There's so much of stuff that's around. So that's why it's like we have to charge. Expensive or not is a matter of understand, like a person. So for some people this is like, as it's very cheap. For some it's very expensive. Perhaps it's very expensive for some, and if that's the case, then there are tons of ways. There are other people who are doing it in a lesser price. You're free to check it out, or you can ask that, okay, maybe I have to do it, but I can't afford it. What can you suggest me? So money is a space, like like money is a consciousness. So there is that idea that something is expensive, something is not, somewhere has to be cleared as well. And this is all about, like how Guru Dakshina was, like you have to give something the Guru asks. It used to be a system in India as well. So it's basically practical thing to do to keep the system going, so that we are accessible to you when you need us. So all right. So all right. So I guess we are gonna start some meditation practice, and I'm going to ask you, if you are in your house, if you are in a comfortable space, and if you can lie down, so you can lie down for this one, because it could be relaxing for you. So simply allow yourself, prepare yourself to lie down. If you have a crystal, you can grab a piece of crystal for yourself. As you're lying down, settle down, closing your eyes. Now, before we start, take both palms of your hands and rub them. Rub them fast. Feel the heat between the palms of your hands with your eyes closed. And now separate them a little, loosening up a little, and then try to feel the energy between the palms of your hands. There will be like a sort of energy, like magnetic, as if two poles of a opposite poles of the magnet are in between. That sort of energy. So if you do feel this energy, place your hands on your body. If you don't, it's okay as well. Place your hands on your body anywhere you like. Maybe you can place it on your stomach, your heart, wherever it feels comfortable. Now, allow yourself to breathe. Slowly breathe in, breathe out, breathing in, breathing out. Once again, follow your breath all the way down to the base of your spine as you breathe in. As you breathe out, focus on your third eye. Breathing in down to the base of your spine. Breathing out up to your third eye. Focus your attention on toes of both your feet, feeling a deep wave of relaxation moving across your toes. Slowly moving up over your heels and your ankles. The relaxation moves up into the calves of your legs. Your knees are relaxing. Your thighs are relaxing. A gentle relaxation moves into your hips. All the way up onto your stomach muscles and your lower back. Up into the middle back, over your solar plexus, front and back. The relaxation gently moves into your upper body, over your chest and your upper back. Your shoulders are relaxing. Down your arms, your hands and your fingers. The relaxation moves to your neck muscles and your throat. All the way up into your scalp, relaxing all the nerves on your scalp. Down your forehead, your eyes, facial muscles, jaw muscles. The entire physical body is relaxed. Imagine that you are in a forest, walking on the soft earth, soft green grass. There are trees all around you. The birds are chirping some mystical song. There's a gentle stream of water flowing by somewhere, and the sun is shining, soft and warm. You can feel the warmth of the sun on your skin. It's a very soothing space. You can smell the scent of the forest in your breath, the scents of the grass, of the flowers, of the earth. You find a nice, calming space to lie down, opening your arms up under the sky, surrendering your whole body to the earth beneath you. With your eyes closed, you're breathing in, breathing out the energy of the forest. Everything in nature is filled with Reiki energy. Reiki energy that comes from the source and moves back to the source. With every breath, we draw it in, and when we breathe out, we return it. And the cycle continues. Make a small prayer or intention in your mind. As I say this prayer, you could repeat it. Dear universe, God, angels, divine, creator, in the here and now, I request, I ask that my Reiki channels be opened on all the layers of my being. I request for my Reiki channels to be opened on all the layers of my being. I request my Reiki channels to be opened. Now simply breathe and surrender to all the stuff that happens in your body. Allow that gentle sensation of opening up. Welcome it as if you're opening a door and letting the sunlight in, letting the breeze in. Slowly to an extent that you realize the door does not exist. All the walls are gone and you are bare, vulnerable, open in nature, in the universe, trusting and surrendering the flow of process. Now the Reiki energy is going to enter from the top of your head, your crown chakra. This energy has a tendency to convert itself into any color that's required for the client, for the person who's receiving. So just be open and aware to what color it shows up and if it changes colors. And the Reiki energy is now moving into your crown chakra at the top of your head. It's slowly starting to release all the unwanted thoughts, attachments, energies, and fill you up with everything that's right for you. Slowly, the energy now moves into your third eye chakra on your forehead, filling up all the spaces in your head, front and back, clearing your doubts, clearing your blockages. Everything that you called fate, which didn't work for you, you're clearing it. Downloading the awareness, the consciousness of light, truth, and everything that's needed on your third eye. Honoring your intuition. The Reiki energy moves into your throat chakra, back and front, clearing all the lies that we convince is truth, that we tell ourselves, all the places we don't acknowledge the truth, clearing it all. Downloading the energy of truth and courage. So you become aware of what is true for you and you honor and validate yourself. Slowly moving in the center of your chest. The Reiki energy, front and back of your heart chakra, cleansing all the hurt, the grief, the pain. Slowly clearing the walls that we build around us. Clearing any cords, any attachments on the heart chakra. Any false beliefs. Downloading high vibrational self-love, self-worth, joy, lightness. Slowly the Reiki energy now moves into your solar plexus, which is a couple of fingers above your belly button, filling up the front and back of solar plexus chakra, clearing all the absorbed negative energies. all other people's energies, other places' energy. Like a huge flush, it moves out. Slowly starting to feel very light, very powerful. You can see the light flooding in your system now. The Reiki energy moves down to your sacral chakra, which is couple fingers down the belly button, and it's starting to wash away all the guilt, the toxic guilt, and again lack of self-worth, washing it away, clearing it. Clearing all the relationship area issues. Downloading a lot of sacredness, feeling of purity within yourself. Slowly moving down to the root chakra. The Reiki energy is flowing deep inside the root chakra at the base of your spine, cleansing all the fears and insecurities, all the cords holding you back in life. negative psychic cords. There's a predominant feeling of you are safe, you are safe, you are safe that's washing over you now in each and every pore of your being, cell of your body. You're safe. I'm safe. I'm safe no matter what. I'm safe. I'm taken care of. I'm protected. I'm safe. Slowly, the Reiki energy moves all the way down to your legs, to the soles of your feet, and from the palms of your hands and the soles of your feet, you see a light coming off. Once again, the color is situation dependent, person dependent. And this light you are now directing to Mother Earth. You're sending it to Mother Earth. The more you send to Mother Earth, the more Reiki comes into your system. The more flush happens. So keep sending it to Mother Earth. This Reiki to Earth is a gratitude, a thank you for Mother Earth. See it going to the lands, the oceans, the farms, the trees, the birds, the rivers. See your Reiki going far and wide. See the flowers blooming and the leaves opening, and the gentle rain dropping on the forest, and the life blossoming everywhere the Reiki touches. See the oceans clearing and the beings are happy. That's good. Now slowly focus on your breath. You can open your eyes and gently come back. Very gently come back. Thank you. When you get up, do so very slowly. Know that you have now filled up lots of Reiki in your chakras. That's gonna go for a while. And you gifted some to Mother Earth. That's gonna go for a while. There's a magic that happens when you do Reiki to Mother Earth, as if something just amazing opens up. I love doing Reiki to Mother Earth. So for all the Reiki healers who didn't learn from me and have learned from here and there, or even you learn from me, remember, do Earth Reiki. Earth Reiki is one of the most rewarding things that you can do as a Reiki master, as a Reiki healer. So yeah, thank you very much, guys. I enjoyed doing this meditation, and I enjoyed doing this talk, and I hope I answered as many questions. There's a link which takes you to the class if you want to take, and you can book a 20 minutes free consult with me online or face to face in Abu Dhabi. I am here for you, and I want to contribute to you in whatever way, capacity that I can and you would allow. What, even if you don't have money and you feel like it's hard for you to do this, at least you can book like a concert, have a talk. Maybe I will be able to guide you to what to do, etc. So don't hold yourself back. There's so much of resources, and many healers have done many sort of activities on this Facebook and Zoom. So go ahead, check those out. I encourage you to read and research more, and check other people out too, and open your mind up for all these things, and become a very unconditionally compassionate being that you are always meant to be. Thank you. And bye.